Finn endures a trial unlike any he has ever confronted before. I am so glad that, along with episodes containing major plotline continuations, such as King's Ransom and Crossover, Adventure Time is also delivering introspective, ambiguous character study episodes like the Hall of Egress. And this is all after we had many episodes based around hijinks and fun. Season 7 seems to be about striking a balance by integrating all the different types of episodes Adventure Time is known for, and this episode marks a symbolism-rich and highly interpretive addition to the ensemble. I thought it was wonderful. The Hall of Egress, at its most basic, is about Finn trying to escape a dungeon. But unlike most dungeons Finn has faced up to this point, dungeons where wits and brawn were used to tackle various enemies that Finn looks back fondly on, even when he probably should not, such as the case with Dungeon Train, this dungeon tests Finn in a completely different way and forces him to go on a deep, prolonged, introspective journey of confusion, exasperation, and isolation. And how does Finn come out of all this?
No comment!
All the thematic depth the episode packs aside, merely watching these events in and of itself was a blast. Watching Finn narrate his mental processes as he goes through this extended journey was an excellent glimpse into our hero's mind.
I'm Finn Mertens, you heard? I don't need no nothing!
And Finn's determination to figure out the dungeon really compelled the viewer to cheer for him the whole way through. The inter-character interactions when Finn lives his blinded life at the treehouse were also amazing. And oh my goodness, that kiss melted my friggin' heart. The pacing to The Hall of Egress was phenomenal. Despite the 11-minute time slot, the episode managed to portray feeling that an immense amount of time has passed during Finn's entrapment. The liberal use of fade to blacks also helped achieve this sensation. The montage of Finn's eyes being forced open is hilarious at a superficial level, but after Finn's goofy screams subside, you realize you just witnessed years of this boy's life shaved away for essentially nothing. Even if these years weren't physically taking a toll on our hero, he is still experiencing them and accumulating the mental strain. Adventure Time demonstrates yet again how it is capable of masking something incredibly dark with utter hilarity. And that's also something I want to give major praise to this episode for. If you try to emphasize or put yourself in the shoes of Finn's situation, it was scary as hell. Not a monster in the shadows jumpscare type scary, no. A far more haunting and deeply unsettling psychological fear lurked in the corners of this episode. And the further this episode went on, the more suffocating this fear became. This episode gave me similar vibes to a web series called Marble Hornets. Now there's no prolonged scenes of building tension or Slenderman scares in this episode, of course, but Marble Hornets had characters dealing with memory loss, where they would wake up unsure of what occurred or what they've been doing over the past several weeks or even months. And that aspect created a much more unsettling background fear behind the overt fear. The scenarios are different, of course, with Finn remembering everything while everyone around him does not. But the deep unease of this episode was similar enough to give me recollections of Marble Hornets. This unease takes on a new layer when Finn decides to set off on his own without his sense of sight. Not only has the resetting scenario forced him to isolate himself from his friends and family, as well as cast aside his entire identity, now he could potentially start succumbing to starvation, dehydration, or just hazards of the environment. And while he can get out of trouble by opening his eyes, that would once again reset the scenario. The episode keeps it playful to keep the viewer from internalizing these fears, but once you've thought about being in this situation yourself, the macabre nature of it all hits you full force. Tom Herpich wrote and storyboarded this episode, which he stated was irredeemably dark upon conception, but he reworked it into something usable. Holy cow! The original version of this concept was even darker and more disturbing. Can you imagine? Finn's constant pep-talking to himself and the lighthearted tone and humor definitely keep this episode from feeling as dark as it potentially could be. Finn manages to keep himself together throughout the ordeal, but consider how uncomfortable and unpleasant it could be if he was actually breaking down and becoming emotionally unstable halfway through. I would actually love to see the original version brought to life, no matter the nightmares it may give me, but this reworked version is still completely astounding. Episodes like the Hall of Egress are creative works that rarely have their meanings completely fixed in one's mind. Through time, there will always be constant shifting and sliding of ideas about what the various aspects of the episode meant. And these are also highly personal viewing experiences, in the sense that viewers can derive multiple interpretations of the episode in accordance with their own life experiences. Amazing introspective episodes like the Hall of Egress need time to simmer in the nether regions of the brain and ferment, in my opinion, and they can invoke insightful discussions for ages to come. Now that being said, I'm going to provide my current interpretations of what the episode was all about. More specifically, what allegories the episode contained, even if my ideas may not be fully cooked yet, because I really want to start the discussion now, and to be honest, I'm fearful that otherwise, I might not find the time to revisit this episode in the future. I have already recorded my analysis video, and now it's simply a matter of completing the editing process. You can expect the video's release within the next few days, and when it's out, I hope you partake in contemplating about the Hall of Egress with me.